What are the top 5 CEOs of our time? I would have to say Jeff Bezos is number 1. Okay, I know he stepped aside to let Andy Jassy, who started Amazon Web Services, to be CEO. But Jeff Bezos is definitely the best, and here's why. He has always run Amazon like a small business. He's been very, very cheap with expenses. And in the early days, you'll see if you Google his name and his desk, you'll see he used to use a door, an old door for his desk. Okay, so he's very, very cheap. What Jeff Bezos also believes in is small groups of people can change the world. And so what he does is he has all of his managers, when they set up meetings, they cannot have more than 2 pizzas in the meeting to feed the people in the meeting. It's a 2 pizza rule, because that way you keep the team small. Because people that change the world are usually small groups of people. When you get too many people, it's like government, it's very bureaucratic. Another thing Jeff Bezos does is every year he asks all of his product managers, he asks all of them to write a press release today that's going to be released in the future. There is a gap, and you have to work as a product manager on filling that gap to get to your goals. So the deadline date is the date for the press release in the future, and the goals are documented as well. So that's what Jeff Bezos does. Now you asked for 5 CEOs, so I got to think of the other ones now. I would say Elon Musk. Elon Musk because he's incredibly positive, he's a visionary, and he is brilliant because I have never seen a Tesla commercial. What he does is he gets free PR, by being controversial and tasteful, using Twitter, etc. So Coca-Cola makes $40 billion a year in revenue, and this is a prop for one of my courses. Coca-Cola makes $40 billion a year in revenue, and they spend $4 billion a year in advertising. That's 10%. And so the brilliance of Elon is that he's controversial, and controversy gets you a lot of free PR. So if you're just starting your company now, you want to be somewhat controversial and tasteful as well. So for example, with my MBA program, I could say Harvard Business School, which is HBS, 2/3 of HBS is BS. So take my program. Or maybe it's Haroun Business School, 2/3 is BS. I don't know. But anyway, have fun with it. Okay, that's 2. Next up, I would say Steve Jobs, God bless him. He wasn't the very best manager of people at times. He pushed people very, very hard, which Elon Musk does as well. But he was an incredible visionary as well. And his ability to present and motivate people is something I've always found very, very inspiring. Next up, we have Jack Welch, the late, great CEO of General Electric. He was fantastic at running GE like a startup. He had many different divisions. He entered many different markets, and he motivated salespeople as well. If you want, you can listen to his audiobook called Straight from the Gut. Again, that's by Jack Welch, the former brilliant CEO of General Electric. The last one I want to mention is Larry Page. And I know that might be surprising to some people, but what I love about Larry Page, he was the CEO of Google, is that he's very ethical. And the same thing with Sergey Brin, his partner who started Google with him. Very ethical. In fact, on the IPO roadshow, I remember this well back in 2004 when I worked in the hedge fund industry. On the IPO roadshow, they kept talking about don't be evil. I think it's in their S1 IPO prospectus as well. Very ethical. They also pulled out of China back in January of 2011, which made Baidu a great long and Google a great short that year. But they pulled out of China because of the fact that there were infringements on free speech. And Sergey Brin grew up in disgusting communism. He grew up in Russia. And so he knows how important it is to allow people to speak their minds.